you the main results of our past year, our annual report of 2024 and 25, which you can also download from our website. Of course, it's just one of the many things what I can tell today, what my colleagues will tell. And we try to find an angle with biodiversity, which is one of the most important things in the demure of biodiversity in the world. There will be a Q&A session at the end, and you can ask your questions in the chat box, and we'll try to answer these later on. Before we get started, a quick introduction to Kadori Farm and Botanic Garden, which was established in 1956. And behind me, you can see it's called 70 because we start celebrating our 70th anniversary when we start as a Kadori Agriculture Aid Association. Every year, we've been trying to do more things. We've been adapting ourselves in a changing world, and we call ourselves a transformative organization. So in this next 45 minutes, we will show you just a few examples of our programs, the main achievement, what we will do. And this will be done by my esteemed colleagues, which I'll introduce and then hand over to them. So first we have Gary Ades, and Gary will talk about particularly nature conservation and look at how we can consider nature's need at the urban fringe. Because Hong Kong is a very biodiverse place, but of course it's a city at the same place, at the same time. So we want to see actually how we can actually adapt our infrastructure to make sure that all these animals and plants can live here as well and preserve and further enhance biodiversity. Gary will followed by Josephine Wu, and Joseph is the head of our holistic education department. And she will particularly highlight the eco-educational curriculum what we have and all the programs that we do for schools, universities, and to talk about biodiversity and ecology. It also, art actually is an important way how we express the different ways how we try to teach students at ecology. And then finally, we've got Heidi Wong, who will give several examples. He's the head of our sustainable living department, how we give examples, especially with communities, how we try to enhance and inspire to live sustainably. After these three speakers, we have a Q&A, so please do ask your questions via the chat box. So let me first introduce a little bit about KFBG. And before we do that, I will just introduce our fingers. I would like to give a kind of tribute to Jane Goodall. I think everybody here on the audience either knows Jane, of course, via the media, but even personally. And Jane has been to KFBG 5 times in the past decades. And this is the last time, the picture you see here, November 2024, sitting in our Sunshine Hall. We can see with an audience to which she spoke to. That's the picture, the last picture. And the other picture is and on the right-hand side for your viewers when she was here 10 years earlier. So Jane has been a close collaborator, a friend of KFBG, and we would like to say a special tribute to her here. And we're missing her here at KFBG, like she will be missed in many parts of the world. So that's RAP, our Jane Goodall. Moving from Jane to the program itself. So actually what we do as KFBG, and we talked earlier, is 3 different spheres, or we call it services: nature conservation, holistic education, and sustainable living. And with those 3 elements, we try to talk about mission, which is actually it's enhancing the relationship with the environment. As I said earlier, our focus today is biodiversity and the angles from the different nature conservation parts, holistic education, sustainable living, at biodiversity. You can see here the many plants and animals, terrestrial ones. And of course, the next one, it's from the sea, the marine biodiversity, and all this enormous biodiversity consists together what we call biodiversity. And biodiversity, if you look to the next slide, is the variety of life found in one place on Earth, or often the total variety of life on Earth. And of course, this is tremendously. And biodiversity includes everything from animals to plants, from insects to fungi and microorganisms. And still a large part of diversity is not yet well known amongst the audience, amongst science yet. Biodiversity is crucial to nature, to our lives, and also our lives in Hong Kong. In Hong Kong is a remarkably biodiverse city. If you just look at the numbers, how many animals, different species we have on the city itself, You will see here just to get an idea, more than 3,000 vascular plants, 580 birds. This is tremendously. We've got terrestrial animals like the pangolin here, butterflies, dragonflies, beetles, amphibians, a whole list of species and genus, and so as you can see. And this is all in a very small territory. So Hong Kong, it's arguably one of the most biodiverse places on Earth. So what are we doing? What is Kadori Farm Botanic Garden do to protect and enhance biodiversity? The topic actually of our presentation today. Now, the Hong Kong government has set up in 2016 for the first time a Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan, or BSAP. Extremely important. And over the past year, actually it started in 2024, the government asked NGOs, scientists, other stakeholders, how we can update this plan and how can we further enhance biodiversity. And the Hong Kong BSAP has 4 areas of action. So first is enhancing conservation measures. Secondly, it's mainstreaming biodiversity, considering these in sustainable development planning. Because biodiversity, until actually maybe 2-3 years ago, was still something mostly scientists talked about. Nowadays, it becomes a lot more part of not just the scientists, but also society, of all of us. We like to improve our knowledge, and also we see how we can promote community involvement. And those 4 areas of actions is something that we as KFBG try to help with, to see how we can enhance biodiversity by using this strategy plan into Hong Kong. And we've been doing it in especially by public engagement. We have posters, we have 150,000 people via Facebook, Instagram. We try to engage the Hong Kong public, the people who live here, but even beyond, to become part of the protection of biodiversity. So with our large size and all the visitors we have here, we try to inspire people, try to inspire them that to see biodiversity is not something just being done and being studied by scientists, but it's part of our natural life. And by having said that, I'd like to hand over to Gary, because Gary will talk particularly how we can consider and help nature's needs at the urban fringes of Hong Kong. And here, Gary, over to you. Talk about nature conservation and see what we do as KFBG on advancing the different habitats. Go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Wander, and welcome everyone. My title, actually, Considering Nature's Needs at the Urban Fringe, is quite apt, really, at the moment, because we do have a lot of development happening in Hong Kong. And I guess with all that development, we are actually creating more fringe. There's more encroachment onto the sort of wild areas, the countryside in Hong Kong, mainly the sort of lower areas where we have streams, wetlands. Those get a lot of the impact in Hong Kong. I think we all know that Hong Kong is a unique city. It is so close to the countryside. And of course, at the edge of every city, there is this fringe area where the area is not quite countryside, but more a sort of a transfer from the urban to the more green areas. And in those areas, we can do actually a lot to mitigate the sort of damage to the environment which is being carried out to create some of the needed infrastructure during the developments, causing the impacts. So this slide basically, I think most of you probably know Hong Kong, but for those people that don't live here, we really have a unique place here where we're so close to the countryside, about an hour. I think that an hour is the longest you would take to get to really quite pristine streams and some really beautiful landscape. Okay, next slide, please. So what are some of these ways to mitigate the development in Hong Kong? Well, one of the things we've been doing for a long time at KFBG is trying to find ways of preventing bird strikes. And this is a little bit of a buzzword these days, because I think many organizations are starting to do this. When we started in the sort of early 2000s, not too many people were actually considering how to deal with this mitigation of bird strikes. And from the previous slide, you can see that actually Hong Kong is, well, we could call it a glass city. There are plenty of places where collisions can take place. So in the early 2000s, we actually got approached by the Highways Department because they were building some of these sound barriers, and they asked our ecological advisory program what we could do to prevent birds hitting the glass. And in those days, the commonly used feature would be a falcon silhouette or a hawk silhouette on the glass to prevent the birds from getting too near. This was found over time not to be as good or successful at deterring the collisions as the dotted the opaque dots on the windows, which we use now are. So actually the opaque dots do a much better job in protecting or preventing bird strike. Apparently, they prevent about 85% of the collisions that would happen, 85% or more. So that's pretty good. What we found with the falcon and what overseas researchers found with the falcon silhouettes was that they're a bit like using a traffic cone in the road. You know that you have to be cautious, but you can go around the traffic cone, and that's what some birds tended to do. So they would hit the window anyway, which was quite sad. So we use this dot pattern, and we kind of advocate this at the moment. Other organizations, environmental consultants are also advocating or suggesting the use of this kind of pattern. I think it does make quite a significant difference. Some birds will still hit the windows, but we follow a kind of what they call a 5x10 rule for the dots, where the dots shouldn't be more than 5 centimeters apart or 10 centimeters high. And apparently that should prevent most birds from connecting with the glass. Next, please. Okay, another unfriendly design that is very, very common in Hong Kong are railings and the problems that railings cause. Because we have a wildlife rescue centre at KFBG, of course, we see the effect of the railing injuries on animals that arrive at the rescue centre. And the problem is that the railings are designed to prevent young children from sticking their heads through and getting stuck, but they're actually perfect for animals like the northern red barking deer, or northern red muntjac, which is the barking deer, and wild boar and even porcupines getting their heads or parts of their body stuck. On the bottom left, you can see the kind of injuries that some of the deer end up having when they arrive at the rescue centre. And the trauma of sitting there and before they're actually cut out is often too much for some animals. So it's very sad. And we always, when we're having meetings to discuss these kind of mitigation measures with the authorities, we're always surprised that when we're building infrastructure so close to wooded areas and natural places where there's plenty of nature, you'd think that the animals were part of the stakeholders that would be considered for the design in the first place. And if you can get the design right at the beginning, of course, that's the best place to be. So we've had opportunities to sort of design or help the design of some fences to prevent animals from not only falling into the catchments, as the fence in the picture shows. This was in Mui Wo, and it was set up because it was a hot spot for deer falling in the catchment, but it's also a fence which the animals can't get their heads stuck between the vertical bars. Another thing that we find all over Hong Kong is deep drainage channels. So these are very unfriendly. And actually, even within our nature reserve at KFBG, we've had to deal with a few. In the top pictures, you can see a channel which has been actually broken at the sides to allow barking deer and other animals that have got trapped in the drain and cannot get out to be able to escape easily. And it's not rocket science. This, I mean, actually, the cuts in the channel do not affect the water flow too much. And not only does it allow escape of animals, but of course, when these drainage channels pass through woodland or a sort of natural habitats, they also prevent animals from getting from one side of the woodland to another. So they're preventing populations mixing by creating this fragmented situation within the habitats. So, the simple methods can open them up. We've been working with the Water Services Department and also the Civil Engineering and Development Department, looking at ways of helping animals to escape from the catchments once they've fallen in the water catchments. And you can see a few pictures which show, sorry, could we go back again, please? You can see a few pictures which show treatments like anti-slip treatments on inclined surfaces, which allow amphibians and snakes and other animals to get out, and also stepping systems which allow porcupines and other mammals and some amphibians and reptiles to get out of these traps, basically. What we're hoping is that these are being sort of studied at the moment to see how effective they are. But once we've found effective means to help these animals escape, they can be employed all over Hong Kong. And that's what we hope will happen eventually. In the bottom middle, there is a kind of an animal tunnel or a mammal tunnel for animals to get from one part of an area to another through a fence. So this picture was actually the tunnel was created by the MTR at one of their wetland compensation sites. And it's very effective, actually. It allows animals like the Javan mongoose and even the rare Eurasian otter, which has been found in the area where this was placed, to move between habitats. So it's a very effective mitigation. Next slide, please. How do we help birds to find nesting holes? Well, why do we have to help the birds to do this? Again, in areas close to native or nature, we can do things to improve the biodiversity or to encourage animals to use areas. Animals actually have to fight for the holes in trees in Hong Kong because the forests are still quite young and there aren't that many holes. So birds and bats and insects are all fighting for the same places. So by adding some sort of man-made structures, we can help to encourage birds to move into those areas and in turn increase the biodiversity of such areas. And the same with the wildlife refuges. Our flora department is doing work on our hillside to re-establish montane forest. And, with all of these storms, we have a lot of trees that fall down. The wood can actually be recycled to make wood piles, which present excellent habitat for some of the animals that you see in the pictures, and birds nesting. And it's very easy to do this. We also use this method with our corporate partnership program to help to develop the habitat restoration during the restoration activities. Also, we can use some of these ideas in our education displays. We've talked about attracting birds. Well, here's some ways to attract bats. Again, we can use bat boxes to do this. We work very close with the flora department, and I think we find more and more that our ecologists and field biologists, we really have to work interdisciplinary. And that's really a theme through this whole talk, because of course, nature isn't separated into separate units. There's a lot of interaction between animals and plants. And so by planting the right tree, you get animals being recruited into the forest, such as the bats that live in fan palms. Next. Another nice, very straightforward, easy mitigation measure for open water bodies is to create floating islands. We have 2 floating islands at KFBG that are mainly used as models to show how these things can be built. Again, it's an interdisciplinary collaboration between flora and the fauna experts. And very, very quickly, actually, the island can recruit all sorts of animals. So if you were to create one of these islands, say, in an urban park, where most of the water bodies are pretty bland with no vegetation, you could then, have an outdoor biology class with dragonflies, frogs, all sorts of animals using the structure. Even turtles on the right, we have a picture of a turtle which was taken at KFBG. It's actually an exotic species, but it adopted the island quite quickly. Next, please. And reconnecting obstructed streams. Again, another very common thing across Hong Kong, where in the past history, weirs were built into the natural streams and then created an obstruction for animals, freshwater animals that want to move upstream or downstream. The fish ladder idea is very, very simple, and it connects around these obstructions a pathway for animals to move upstream and downstream. You can see the methodology in the picture on the top right. And we have had great success in that many different species of animals have actually used our fish ladders, including different species of frogs like the lesser spiny frog, Hong Kong newts, the cascade frog, even Anderson's stream snake, which is quite rare, has been found in one of our fish ladders. Okay, thank you. Next slide, please. And going on again about the interdisciplinary work. Once you understand better the interactions between plants and animals, in your mitigation work, you can actually focus really on what you want to move into certain areas. So by putting the nectar, the plants, the food plants for different animals, you can actually attract those into areas. So botanists and zoologists working together can be quite efficient at developing the habitat for these different animals. The picture on the far right was a little collaboration that our flora department did with a researcher to see what was coming to the mucuna plant, which was flowering on our lower hillside. And they found that the local masked palm civets, squirrels, even the chestnut spiny rat was coming to this plant to basically pollinating the plant by taking the pollen on their noses as they were getting to the nectar. And also some of them were not so friendly to the plant, so they were cheating. They were taking the nectar from the base of the flower rather than going through the front of the flower. So little experiments using camera traps can really show you a lot about what's going on with the plants that you have placed. Next, please. And as I started off at the beginning of the presentation, I mentioned about a lot of development in Hong Kong. And of course, we all know about the Northern Metropolis. And this Greenway network is a kind of vision that we created at KFBG that could allow the connection between cultural, natural, and agricultural heritage and preservation through a kind of pathway that the public could take through these different areas. And of course, within those areas, all the mitigatory devices and ideas I've just mentioned can actually play a role to make sure that where concrete is being laid down, we are able to make animal-friendly passages and sort of tunnels, and also perhaps putting animal homes that can be used while the animals are adapting to the new sort of urban fringe environment. So this picture actually is quite important to us because it's a kind of an ongoing thing, and we would like to see this kind of adoption of friendly networks so that our rare and common animal species can thrive in these areas that are very close to urban development. Okay, I think I've run out of time, so I'll stop there. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Gary. We should give you an hour next time. I think that would work better. Thank you very much. Yeah. Joe, over to you, please. Ecology, eco-curriculum.
Thank you, Wander, and also thank you, Gary. It's very informative to learn a lot of work about what we do on site here at KFBG and how we can actually extend our know-how and also our knowledge. In my sessions, I'm going to talk a lot more about holistic education. And in 2024 to 2025, we had a lot of fun and have the privilege in developing many new programs. And I would like to share some of them here. As educators, my team, we take pride in nurturing meaningful connections between people and the nature through experiential, interdisciplinary, and transformative learning. And guided by our philosophy of learning through the head, the heart, and the hand, we expanded long-term partnerships and also enhanced creative collaboration to inspire the experience of curiosity, compassion, and ecological consciousness across all age groups. And as you have seen a lot of effort in how we maintain the soil, the biodiversity at our site. Last year, we have received over 120,000 individuals. They come here to either visit or to take part in our programs. Before I go into the details, I also wish to frame the understanding of eco-intelligence. This is a quote I have taken from Satish Kumar, our beloved teachers. To develop eco-intelligence, we have to learn not only about nature, but from nature as well. And this is a fun slide. We outline here the key components. Actually, we have divided it into 8 fun ones, which are age-friendly. This is developed due to the request from the local primary schools in adapting to the new primary science curriculum, which emphasizes on the scientific inquiry, STEM learning, and sustainability education. However, this framework, we are also able to apply it to adult learning and also in our various programs. And this is quite an achievement last year. As you have been in Hong Kong, you know that this is the year of the snake, a year of transformation. But actually, snakes being misunderstood a lot of time as a vilified species. And that's why we also take the chance to actually introduce the snake in a very holistic manner. So the Snakes Alive, a year of celebrations, is aligned with the zodiac astrology. And also it is a school program that we engage primary and secondary schools, trying to help them to deepen their understanding. And we organized the school talks, on-site visit to KFBG, and also creative partnership program. And the initiative was also culminated in a public exhibition, the Side-by-Side in Harmony, Snake, Nature and Us. This is also celebrating our 26 years of hard work in the wild snake rescue project, which is Gary's pet project, one of the, and it's actually at the site in those 3 months between January to March, we have put up different interactive games, and also we have specimens, and also we have guided tours and also natural dye workshops to give the participants a different understanding of how snake can interact and also can coexist with us. We actually invite everyone to protect the wild snakes in Hong Kong with us. And this is a picture that on the right-hand side is part of the indigo dyeing workshop that we have done with the students during the snake project. This is called the 100 Family Snake Patchwork. And we blend it with the natural process of snake growth with the cultural significance of what we call the bagabo for the newborns in the village. And we worked with an artist, Benjamin Howe. He was very much into ecological arts. And we have picked four native species: the mock viper, the red-necked quebec, the greater green snake, and the Burmese python, and to showcase their habitats and also bring it to the school. And students are actually bringing their own outgrown clothes to actually recreate an installation of a snake, together with the Chinese indigo, which were picked from our site, to learn how to actually use the natural dye, and also as a part of an ecological education. And the run on the left-hand side, you can see that one of our colleagues, Craig, is working with the local secondary school students. This is a new project again, the Dutchman Pipes and the Golden Birdwing Urban Habitat Creations Project. And I think further to Gary's explanations about how we actually want to nurture the urban biodiversity. So this is one of the efforts. And the schools participated in this program. They actually take the effort to plant these exclusive plants, and also hoping to actually attract the golden birdwing butterfly, which rely on this as their host plant. And we see a lot of changes in how the students take care of their own garden at their school. And also in the habitat restoration or the habitat creations, they learn a lot more, which link to their curriculum. And this is also another way that we want to bring over the importance of that biodiversity, and also alongside with the cultural dimensions of conservation. And this is, again, the Kadyrov program is a very key program in our holistic education offering. And last year, we had the honor to host the Men's House, which is only for men. And the theme is Discovering Wholeness. It is co-facilitated by John Quano, which is one of our elders, and also our chairman, Andrew McAuley, and a Qigong practitioner, Nathan Garrett. And this experience had actually attracted only men, which is, I think, something we want to do more in the future, and also with breathwork ceremonies led by Andrew. And while John was here, he was also conducting a whole series of school tours and actually working with the students to talk about indigenous wisdom and also sustainability. And also the photo on the right-hand side is another new initiative. It's called the Soil, Seed and Community, which actually is a hybrid program that we have on site and also have some learning and also online learning from Satish and also from Rendana Shiva. And it is another journey to experience ecological worldview by engaging the soil and also the seed as a very, very key elements which are fundamental to the life plan on the planet and also in the city setting, because sometimes we really forgot where our food come from. And all these workshops were actually led by some of our key ecologists and also agricultural staff. And it's a very hands-on experience as well. And also last year, we also organized our Kaduri Earth program online series. So we have invited different teachers and say like Colin and also Colin Campbell, which talks about animism and indigenous wisdom. And also Alton Kernick from the Amazon, which he is also a leader and also a thought leader and also a philosopher. And also Andy Letcher, which talks a little bit more about how we have spiritual ecology, and also Om and also Sun Heng talks about the eco-village and also soil stewardship. So it's a very rich program we have each year, and this year we are actually using the Loving the Land as our key theme. So I think on October 22nd, there will be another talk done by our colleagues on the local ecology. And we also proudly present last year Satish Kumar's film called The Radical Love, which spread around the idea of love and peace and activism. So we have attracted about over 300 guests to view the film. And this is the art program, which Wander has mentioned earlier. On the left-hand side is the Artist in Residence program in last year that we have organized. And this is a very interesting project because the art piece was created from the weed that everyone like kind of dislike or don't know how to handle them. The artist Kay actually spent quite a bit of time into our site to pick the kind of weed that she can weave with, and also created all these art pieces. And this is actually a dialogue that we hope we can actually engage with the scientists because there is a publications from our Fora team talking about the worst weeds in Hong Kong. And we think that the weeds actually didn't choose to come here, but then how to coexist and to make good use of their existence is also another way to look at sustainability. So this also highlight the resilience of how the nature is taking care of itself at times. And there are also other regular programs that we base on art. For example, you see the happy face here with parents and also children doing the artwork together. And there is a kalimba program that we have been running. And the wood actually usually comes from our recycled wood. That is also another usage other than we create the insects or the biochar here. And other programs such as the Tango and the Art Corner, in each year, we have about 4,000 program participants. And this is just a, like a overall general picture to showcase that in a year, how many programs that we have been running. We also run programs for very, very young age now, as young as around 2 years old. So last year, we have delivered over 550 programs. And so it ranges from summer camp to actually for schools, and also the volunteer program and the university internship, and also forest immersion walk. So all of these are very rich. And I hope you can also come join us in the year to come. And also this come to the last slide. This is a very awesome program last December that we collaborate with the Yilan Earth Theatre. the regain of the lost wing. So this is about a legendary bird who has got hurt and find his way back from the bottom of KFBG site all the way go up to the Kunyam summit. And the participants are the students and also maybe families. They joined all the performers in the puppet parades and also in interactive ads in different parts of our site. This actually helped them to really immerse into nature and to learn about how they can actually learn to be transformed. And as a collaboration, actually the performers were invited to learn about bird conservations and also have a special workshop with one of our teachers about tree energy. So this is how we actually want to transform the community and also the individuals who are in contact with nature and with us. And one of our core beliefs is using art, as you can see, to deepen our relationship. And at my last remarks is that we hope that everyone also remember that we are nature and we are not apart from nature. So that's all from me. Thank you. I'll pass on to Heidi.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Joe. Heidi, certainly not the least, but the last. So maybe you can explain a bit more about KFBG mission, but definitely our new openly food hub in the Kadori Center. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Wanda. So good afternoon, everyone. Now I would like to highlight the Sustainable Living Program of the year around the theme of biodiversity conservation of the day. So our Sustainable Living Program is very much rooted in KFBG's mission, which is bringing people to act to harmonize the relationship with the environment. And in fact, the word relationship actually bear the intention to restore and also connection with lives in the dimension of past, present, and future. So next slide, please. Our program actually aims to arouse appreciation of our action with regard to the current and the future generation, and also arouse awareness of our connection with the environment, and also helping people, facilitating people to value simple and responsible lifestyle. And the way that how we are doing it is always with three major components. First is to inspire people with positive story, action, and initiative. Secondly is to engage participation and also co-creating sustainable alternatives. And these three core components actually interconnect in all our program. So regarding the base of working out this program, if we go back to the last slide, please, we actually have three bases as the incubator. One is Kiduri Farm and Botanic Garden. The other two, one is the Green Hub, and the last one is the Food Hub. And these three are incubator for people to come and learn, but also the incubator for the community to come together to co-create what they can bring back to their everyday life and also to the community. So since Gary and Joe has actually covered quite a lot about what we have been doing in Kiduri Farm Botanic Garden, I would like to give more time to talk about the other two bases, which is the Green Hub and also the Food Hub today. So for some of you may have been to Kiduri Farm's Green Hub project. This is a collaboration with the Hong Kong government led by the Commissioner for Heritage Office. And we actually interact with over 20 government departments in the process. A really truly interdisciplinary collaboration between KFBG and also professionals of all different fields. And in this project, back to the link with biodiversity conservation, we actually have three very important objectives set up from the very beginning. Like what Gary mentioned earlier, it's best to do those planning in the design stage so that the thing will unfold in the most positive result. So firstly is restoration of the green architecture of the historic Old Taipei Police Station. This is a building constructed in 1899, over 120 years ago, at a time when there is no air conditioning. So by restoring the architectural design of the days, it actually restores the green architecture design of the site, which allows us to demonstrate low carbon living. which is very important for all the global crisis on environment and also human. And another thing is that place is fully covered with tree, but with a lot of problem, like those trees are probably is unhealthy and covered with weed. So preservation of all tree on site and also ecological enhancement is another important intervention. And also the site is special in the way that it have a egret breeding site just next to it. And how to coexist with these wildlife friends is very important. So we did really put them as our key stakeholder to guide the design work management, and also long-term operation. So 10 years on, if we look back to what we have achieved, is that the historic building is actually upgrade from a grade 2 historic architecture to now it is actually a declare monument. And the upgrade of conservation status actually help preserve the building itself. And secondly, with caring and also professional input, our regular tree inspection indicate all trees on site, including 2 old and valuable trees, are actually getting healthier. And in fact, the very frequent typhoon in the last few years have passed the resilience of the habitat on site. And another very important is about the egret breeding site. By making reference to the data of the Hong Kong Bird Watching Society, the number of egret nests has grown from 20 nests in 2009 to 262 in 2022. So the great drain in number actually reflect the renovation work and also the operation of the green hub does coexist with the bird. And also on the other side, it also highlight the birds may have experienced habitat, they have experienced threats on their habitat loss elsewhere. So this is something that we have to bring back to our interpretation on site to arouse public awareness. So over the last 10 years, we have been using the site to promote sustainable living. And since 2015, we have 500,000 people visit the Green Hub to learn about the conservation story and the integrated conservation design of the site. And we have another 37,000 people join our sustainable living workshop and courses, learning sustainable design and also reskilling in the sense of how to live a greener life. I would like to mention also about a very important project, which is our Eat Well program, which offers a very practical entry point from the food, the free meals of everyone's every day, using that as the entry point to live a healthier and greener life. And as a hub, the Green Hub also serves as a platform to support various sustainable activities, which is organized by different partners, NGOs in Hong Kong. And it is also a gathering place to bring the general public together to learn how to connect with people as well, and also co-create initiatives. Next slide, please. So now the Food Hub project is another project we put an effort in the last 2 years. And this slide with the Google map showing KFBG in the middle. And the square circle actually mark the Kiduri Center, which is located just next to KFBG. By seeing the 2 locations, you will see the intention, which is actually to synergize the relationship between these 2 sites is very obvious. So for the Kiduri Center, it was constructed 40 years ago, and it is managed by the Hong Kong University of Hong Kong, firstly as Agricultural Research Center. And over the years, well, for the KFBG Food Hub project, next slide, please. And we are very grateful that for the Food Hub project, it allowed us to reactivate a collaboration with the University of Hong Kong to try to bring these 2 sites together closer to unfold future synergies. So for the Food Hub project, we are actually trying to revitalize one of the abandoned canteen block which has service suspended for over 12 years to a food hub. And in this food hub renovation, we see itself is a project, a demonstration project, which we put in sustainable design following the BIM+ standard to guide us through the design, renovation, and operational management practice to promote sustainability. And I actually take into account of various aspects like the well-being of people, the well-being of wildlife, and also the operational sustainability. And this project has received the highest grading in the latest BIM+ standard Platinum in spring this year. And it actually offers a very good demonstration of very relevant context to city and also urban development in Hong Kong. And this center, this food hub is officially commenced service in May 2025. And we have started running workshop and vegan catering to people who are using the facility to promote food education. And also the food hub as first step, but also a very important vehicle to synergize collaboration with KFBG and Kaduri centers for the years to come to unfold the Kaduri Earth program. We believe that these two sides, if we have more synergy to work together, then it will unfold our program to help transformation of Hong Kong communities. And back to the hubs that we have been creating over the years, it offers space for people come to connect with each other, to connect with nature, learning together, and also co-creating sustainable initiatives. And in the years to come, we will be organizing more activities to bring the communities together through permaculture design and also transition time initiative, which is more like a community movement that facilitates collaboration. And just another slide on the right-hand side here, you will see a permaculture talk that we are going to organize on 29th of October. And you are warmly welcome to interact and also hearing the permaculture pioneer, Rosemary Morrow, to share how sustainable design actually can change our everyday life and also bring about a sustainable and just world. You are warmly welcome to join these activities. To recap, we believe sustainable living is enhancing the well-being for all. And we always being aware that we have to widen the engagement gradually. And each individual who join us, we see them as the seed. And also we hope to have you who are joining our webinar today to be our partner. And more importantly, we also actively document and promote the cases that we have established. For example, we are very grateful that the Green Hub project was selected to be included as a case study in the Shanghai Manual under the UN Habitat Report in year 2024. It is a guide for city planner on sustainable development, and we are hoping that through sharing our story, we can inspire wider change. The last but not the least, regenerative agriculture is a core component of KFBG. And we have been again and again trying to bring it interdisciplinary component in all our regenerative agricultural work to highlight why it is very important for Hong Kong. And we are going to have an online seminar on 22nd of October, like what Joe had mentioned. This will feature on how agriculture and ecological integrity can coexist. Please join this webinar and explore with us together. So this comes to the end of my sharing, and I would like to pass the floor back to Wander. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much, Heidi. Right, thank you very much all of the presenters, Gary, Heidi, and Joe. And then we have a Q&A. Can you go back to the slides, Wander? So we only have a few minutes. So actually, first question I had, Josephine mentioned specifically, why are we having more men programs? Well, the reality is at KFBG that more than 70–80% of our programs are being attended by females, and we like, which is great. But at the same time, we like to have our programs creating for perhaps a more diverse audience as well. So now we have a few programs, or at least we had one this year, the Man's House, which was more catered to, let's say, a different group of audience what we had. So that's one thing. Another question I just see here, I'm very interested in education for kids. And now we have this program for very young kids from 2 to 4 years old. So now actually we have kids from 2 to 4 till 100 years old. And those programs are relatively the most time consuming because small children, of course, of 2 to 3 years old are really difficult. And I can't say to handle, but to educate. So these are more fun educationals. We have these programs mentioned on our website, so I can't mention them all here, but in general, do check our website. Do check our newsletter. If you don't have it yet, you can always get the newsletter and being subscribed to that as well, which is being done every month. Lastly, because I think we're running out to this 1 hour, when you want to know a lot more about all the things what we discussed today, because it was really a challenge to look at what are we going to present, and that's why we focused on biodiversity, because we're doing hundreds of programs. We are a pretty, luckily, large organization. It's a large variety of programs, so do check our annual report. It's a very visual report. You can download it on the link you received. It's for free in English and Chinese. Please do download it and have a look at what we've been doing over the past year. Not just to see what KFBG has been doing, but also what you could do, what you could contribute to a larger biodiversity or to enhance biodiversity. Because one of the things we always have applied science here. We like to see how our science can help nature and how our science can support our mission is to harmonize the relationship with the environment. So by having said that, I'd like to thank you very much for all of you. For those of you who like to do more with KFBG, well, visit us, be a volunteer. We have 3 sites, as we said. We have the Green Hub, the Food Hub, and KFBG site itself. And I hope to see you, especially the coming year, when we celebrate our 70th anniversary. So we've been established in 56. So next year, 2026, we start our anniversary. And actually, we're kicking this off actually exactly, maybe you can say today, but especially next week, when we have a special webinar about our agriculture and ecology. So we call it, can farmers and ecologists live together, or can ecology and agriculture coexist? It's a webinar on the 22nd of October, and you can sign up for that also via our site. So thanks again. If you want to listen again to this recording, please download it. It's of you being sent to it next week. And please join us next week, Wednesday, 22nd, on our next webinar, followed by webinars on November about orchids, and then one together with Kew Gardens, which I will moderate with Richard Deverell, about the relationships of the importance of botanic gardens in the modern world. Thank you again for joining. I hope you enjoyed it, and hope to see you next week. Thank you, and bye-bye.